You want more power on your serve? If you do, you got to know the best nation in the world, Pronation. Let's get started. Hey there, Ramon Osa with you here, and there's a lot of mystery floating around out there about this whole pronation thing. And I was pretty perplexed about it in the beginning too, as my days as a hacker and a bad server with horrible technique. Luckily for you, I took a bunch of great lessons with the best coaches in the world, and I figured out this whole pronation thing, and I'm going to show you in this video what exactly pronation is, and more importantly, how you can use it to get more pop on your serve. But before we go any further, if this is your first time on this channel, first of all, welcome, thanks for joining, and you're going to want to hit the subscribe button now because I make 2 videos for you every week that teach the fun and the fundamentals of tennis so you can play tennis at a high level for the rest of your life. Now let's get into it. Basically, all that pronation means is a fancy way of saying that as you go to hit your service motion or do anything, your shoulder and your forearm are going to rotate inward like this. All right, that's all pronation is. Now here's the rub. There's 3 basic problems that I see repeatedly when I'm out at the club or out on the courts at the park with my wife, and they have to do with the way people are pronating. Number 1 is what we call the dreaded waiter's serve, and I'm going to make a whole video on this because this is a really common problem out there. Basically, it's when you go to hit the serve and the racket kind of flops back like this, and you end up pushing the ball. See, it kind of looks like a waiter. Wish I had some pizza right now. That'd be pretty good. Anyway, so that's number 1, and we're going to make a video on that to correct that. Number 2 is that people are pronating, but they're actually pronating way too early, so they're losing the snap on their serve. So it looks something like this. I go back to hit my serve, and all of a sudden, you're pronating way too early. Kind of like that. And finally, number 3, people are forcing the pronation. They're like, I'm going to pronate if it's the last thing that happens. All right, because we know we need to do it, but there's a better way. So we have met the enemies of the pronation. We know what not to do. We know exactly what pronation is. So let me show you in this video 3 fun little exercises that'll help you feel the pronation so you can start hitting some bigger serves.
Now the first one is the classic line up to the fence trick. So what we're going to do is get really close to the fence and line up with your hips and shoulders at about a 45-degree angle to the fence, because this is the ideal orientation of your body when you make contact. Now make sure you're in a continental grip here. As a side note, this pronation thing works really well in a continental grip, and if you're watching this video because you want more power on your serve, which is probably true, you should be in a continental grip. Now, what you're going to do is start in a trophy position here, staying nice and relaxed, and just pretend that you're hammering a nail into the fence with the edge of your racket like this. As you're doing this, make sure you're reaching up and really extending into contact, leading with the edge of the racket like this. This would be tough for Mr. Kangaroo here, but you can do it. One of the most important elements of pronation is letting it happen on its own, which tends to be right before contact. So you want to get the feel of really leading with the edge of the racket here. Okay, next, do the same thing, but this time as you get closer to the fence, I want you to allow your racket to introduce its strings to the fence. Well, hello strings, nice to meet you. Do this a lot. If you've been hitting a serve without the pronation for any length of time, or if you just really want to get it down, you're going to have to rewire the old muscle memory, unless you're in the Matrix or something, and you can just download it. That would be awesome. Now the third exercise is to throw a ball. If you've been subscribed to my channel, you know that I say a lot that hitting a serve is basically like throwing a ball up in the sky. And it is. So as a quick kind of crash course in throwing, just keep your arm really loose. And notice here I've got my palm turned outward as I get set to throw. And as I throw, my palm ends up turning the opposite way, or pronating. This happens on its own. You won't have to think too much about it if you're relaxed and you're rotating your hips and shoulders as you throw. And finally, we're going to do some shadow swings with your racket from the trophy position. Now remember when we were hanging out together at the fence? Well, I want you to visualize yourself going up towards that fence, leading with the edge of your racket, and just allowing the racket face to open up naturally towards contact. And then let your follow through just kind of come across your body. Kind of like you're putting your sword back in the holster. My wife and I have been watching Game of Thrones lately, so I've got swords on my mind. Anyway, great show by the way. If you like fantasy, check out Game of Thrones. So stay relaxed in that continental grip and lead up with the edge of the racket. Let the strings present themselves to the imaginary contact point and let the finish go across your body.
By now you're thinking, okay, Ramon, it's time to go hit some balls, right? Well, not so fast. I want to have a little discussion with you here, because the thing with when you're learning something technical is the best way to practice it and to get it down quickly is to do it without results. Okay, what I mean by that is most people will try and kind of learn this stuff on the fly. You know, they'll do it in a set. Problem with that is when we're playing a match, if you're anything like me, you're thinking, I got to make the ball in, I got to hit my shot, and the last thing I'm thinking about is, did I pronate on that serve? It just doesn't happen, right? So if you want to rewire your muscle memory, do a lot of these shadow swings, throw a ton of balls, and you'll be a star by Tuesday. And if you're looking for a way to practice the pronation and all of the fundamentals that you need to hit a powerful, consistent, and accurate serve from home, I got great news. I've created a training for you called the Best Serve Drill Ever that'll do just that. And you can have it for free just by clicking the link down below, heading over to my website and grabbing it. In the meantime, if you found this video helpful, do me a favor and click the like button and let me know in the comments how you can best use this pronation to get more power on your serve. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss next week's 2 new lessons, and share this with a friend. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.